Welcome to the weekly newsroom feature here on VLGA Connect. A pleasure, as always, to say hello, Kathryn Arndt.
Hi, Chris. It's nice to see you today. How are you going?
I'm going very well. What about you?
Yeah, look, who couldn't be on this beautiful sunny day, the last days of, well, actually, we're into winter now, aren't we?
We certainly are, yes. But the long weekend, I think, was a bit of a sign that we'd turned a bit of a corner weather-wise.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, we weren't able to speak about this last week, but early this week, we released a special VLGA Connect celebrating a terrific research grant that you've received to look at the forthcoming electoral cycle, mainly about the political trajectories of women in local government, but it's more broader than that, isn't it?
Absolutely, Chris. This is a terrific piece of research that we're very proud to have been awarded an Australian research grant. For those of you out there who might know about the ARC grant process, they're fiercely competitive. Fortunately, we did get this groundbreaking research project off the ground. It's the first of its kind in Australia, and we're very pleased to have partnered with the University of Melbourne and La Trobe University. Associate Professor Leah Ruppner and also Associate Professor Andrea Carson will be working with us. This project actually covers, it extends over a 4-year period and absolutely looks at, in particular, the systemic issues and trajectories for women in representative roles. We'll also highlight, because men will also be included in the consultation and research project, what those systemic barriers are more generally for both men and women in elected representative roles.
Terrific idea. I can only imagine the evidence base that will be built up from following this entire cycle will become extremely useful in understanding barriers, breaking down those barriers in future. And there's probably a whole range of things that we'll get understandings of and insights into that you're not even aware of at this point in time.
Absolutely, and the beauty of the project is that it also can be then potentially applied across other levels of government. So it's not just limited the findings to local government, which of course will be very useful.
Indeed. So also this week, the candidate training that the VLGA is running has continued. I know Steve Cooper from our governance update was in Stonington last night. I think we go to Yarra next week. You must be pleased with the interest and the take-up from councils across the state.
Yes, we can hardly keep up. There is a lot of interest and councils are very keen to get out there to their community leading into the elections so that those candidates or potential candidates are well across the responsibilities of being a councillor and also, I guess, the business of local government. The mandatory training that we've heard so much about, but yet to see the details of, we're anticipating will be available from the 13th of July. That is, the local government Victoria will pass it on to the councils and then they'll be in a position to deliver that either themselves or they can engage parties like the VLGA to do that. And we also have been quite overwhelmed with the level of interest from councils for us to deliver that mandatory component. And I'm not at all surprised. Councils are incredibly busy at the moment.
Yes.
And therefore to have the resource capability to be able to deliver that is pretty tight. But the other thing that is also front of mind is the fact that councils themselves feel that perhaps that should be something delivered by an independent sort of third party. So we're very pleased to be able to work with our members to support them in that.
Indeed, a busy few months ahead. Looking ahead to next week, I have to say I've been surprised by the level of interest in our live panel session that you've arranged with EY on climate emergency action plans. It's extraordinary, the numbers of people who've said they want to participate in this.
Yes, I think we'll have to update or upgrade the Zoom account, Chris, so that we can accommodate that discussion. I think we're looking well and truly over 100 participants for that. That's an initiative that we've been talking to EY about now for a number of months. And particularly it focuses on some of the work that they've done at both an international and national level, looking at climate emergency action plans and the implications, social and economic, for communities. We're also very aware that there are some Victorian councils who've done innovative work in this space as well. So what we're hoping to do is, after we have that panel discussion next week, that we can then have a subsequent panel and have a few of those Victorian Council representatives talk to us specifically about the practical implication of those plans in their own communities.
Clearly, a lot of demand, so that will be good to then hone in on some more specific examples after our discussion next week. Also, next week it's going to be a big week. We've got 5 local government CEOs lined up to participate in a panel talking broadly about all sorts of things that are currently of relevance to the sector.
Yes, and I think we touched on that last week. Looking forward to hearing the reflections of CEOs from, I guess, all of the diverse type of councils in Victoria: interface, rural, regional, in a metro, sort of large regional centres. So I'm really looking forward to that conversation.
Can I reveal for the first time here on Newsroom a future VLGA Connect Live, which looks like happening at the end of the month? Deliberative engagement is one of those principles that's being embedded in the new Local Government Act. A lot of councils haven't dipped their toe in the water here yet, and there's a lot of there's a great need, I think, for advice and clarity on how you go about these processes. So really pleased to say that we've got Mosaic Lab, a very proficient firm that delivers these processes, and Brett Hennig from the Sortition Foundation in Budapest are going to join us for a live panel in a couple of weeks. Kathryn, I'm pretty excited about this one.
Look, so am I, and this will be the second live panel we've had with an international speaker. So I think, again, it reflects the reach of the VLGA and also our ability to bring in those thought leaders and expert speakers to inform the local government sector here in Victoria about those issues which are front of mind, and also they need to get their heads around to meet their responsibilities at that local level. So very pleased to be hosting that. Looking forward to it.
So if I could do a virtual save the date, if anyone's interested in that, the 29th of June at 3 p.m. It's all but 100% locked in, so keep that afternoon free. We've got to do it later in the day to account for the time difference with Hungary, but I think it'll be worth it.
What a lovely city Budapest is. One of my favourite cities.
You've been there a couple of times, I believe. I haven't had the pleasure.
Yes, I have, yes.
Now, before we go, the VLGA board election, where are we at with that process?
Yes, so the ballot closes at 5 p.m. on Tuesday the 16th, so that is next week. So for those member councillors who have yet to cast their vote, there are 2 positions vacant. We have, I think, 6 candidates, so please have a look at our website. Check out the email you would have received from the Australian Electoral Company, which gives you the instructions on how to vote. We'll also send out a reminder over the next couple of days as well.
All right, and we'll check in with you again next week to see how that all wrapped up. What's the timing post closing of that voting process?
So the ballot closes at 5 o'clock. Because it's being done electronically, the AEC will be able to advise me in my capacity as returning officer probably around 6:30 that same evening, at which time I'll be able to declare those candidates who've been elected.
So we'll be able to talk about that in the newsroom next week.
We will, something to look forward to. And their term, those new board members' term, will start from the 1st of July.
Now, you said earlier it's a wonderful day, and I think we found a song that builds on that theme in your regular desire to go out with a song of the week. I was surprised you're not familiar with Matt Munro, Kathryn.
I'm not. Look, perhaps a little before my time, although in saying that, I do have quite a diverse musical repertoire or CD collection. But no, I haven't come across Matt. So I'm looking forward to hearing this version.
So enjoy this from Matt Munro. A wonderful day like today to take us out from the VLGA Newsroom. Kathryn, thank you as always. See you next week.
Always a pleasure, Chris. See you then.
In a wonderful way, on a wonderful day like today. The second I saw it, I knew. I said to myself, aha! I could tell at a glance that it wasn't by chance that we happened to be where we are. From the moment I woke